The ranking of Electronic Arts continues in 1994, where they released and published 20 different games. And what I'm doing on my channel is looking at classic EA games on the Sega Genesis and ranking them by year. I've done several other ranking videos. You can check them out with the links below. And I've done several other EA years, and you're going to have your favorites. Obviously, by 1994, EA was clearly going in the direction of sports, but there also was some other releases, and I'm going to look at everything that they published in 1994 for the Sega Genesis. If you want to rank these yourself, the link will be below as well. And so, sit back, relax, let's take a look. If you like college football, then you may want to check out Bill Walsh College Football 95, where they improved upon the previous year, adding additional plays, and I think there is a lot to like here if you're into that sport. If you're a diehard sim sports fan and like the classic 16-bit games, this one's for you with that 4-player support as well. I like the previous version just as much. They got rid of the passing windows, which is a big deal for many people. I like this one on par with the previous version, and it's a B for me. Well, maybe soccer's your thing, and FIFA Soccer 95 really improved upon the previous year, and I really like this version of the game. While I like the original first release of FIFA Soccer, it seems like they increased the speed and the animations, and this one to me plays a lot better. I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. I'm kind of a casual soccer fan. I played it in high school, and so I really like what they did here. I think it's an excellent year of FIFA Soccer for the Sega Genesis. It's an A for me. EA changed it up with Russa Baseball 95, and I didn't like it. As a lifelong baseball fan and someone who's played a lot of baseball growing up, I didn't like the behind the pitcher. They were trying to go for like the TV simulation where you see it, and it was really difficult to master. There are many other better baseball games on the Sega Genesis, and it's a D for me. EA really started pumping out the sports titles, and they even released 2 games per sport for some, and baseball was a good example. MLBPA Baseball is more of an arcade style baseball game. I love the hitting, I love the graphics, I hate the fielding in this game, and it really kind of ruins a somewhat enjoyable experience, and so it's a C for me. If you're a fan of classics such as pole position or just into these types of racers, you're going to love Mario Andretti Racing, and there is a lot to like here. It's a great combination of sim and arcade fun. I really enjoyed this racing game. I hadn't had a lot of experience with it, so going back and playing this one, it's a great option for racing fans, and a B. And here's what I said about Madden 95 in a previous video. Madden 95 is known to be the one that got rid of the passing windows. And the nice thing about that is that you could see the depth of your receivers. It was a little bit easier to pass. There was 2-point conversions. There was better sound, but I just think it looks bad. You know, some people like the animation, but overall, this doesn't look great. New 3D rendered, you know, they advertise the graphics being better. Overall, it just, to me, just was missing some of what I liked about Madden 94, and definitely missing what I liked about Madden 93. Overall, I'm not a big fan of Madden 95, and that is a C. Yeah, it's just average for me. Even though an average Madden game is still better than most football games on the Sega Genesis. Maybe traditional sports is not your thing. Well, look no further than Mutant League Hockey. I do like hockey games, and I'm a big fan of Mutant League Football, which I rated an S. How does Mutant League Hockey hold up to that? I don't think it's as good. It's definitely rare and very hard to find these days, but you know, for me, I'm going to go with the traditional hockey game, as some of the ones that EA published for the Sega Genesis are excellent. This is still a great over-the-top experience, and it's a B. And here's the ranking through the first 7. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't a big fan of the early EA classic basketball games, but I feel that NBA Showdown 94 was one that was going in the right direction of improvements. Most importantly, they sped up the gameplay, which was my biggest complaint of the other ones, While I do feel sometimes the block shots of the computer can be a little bit cheap, this is a good basketball game, and it's a B for me. NBA Live 95, EA went back to the drawing board and completely redesigned their basketball series, and I'm thankful that they did, because this is one of the best basketball experiences on the Sega Genesis, especially for a full realistic experience. They kind of went with like a TV court mode. I really love everything that they did in this game, the animations, the dunks. This is one of the best they did for the Sega Genesis, and an A for me. How do you follow up one of the greatest sports games of all times, especially for classic consoles? Well, you get NHL 95, and unfortunately EA messed with it too much, changing it up a bit. It's fast. They took out the fighting. There's just something missing from playing this game. I can't put my finger on it, other than the fact that I really prefer NHL 94. I think many others do as well. This is not a bad hockey game. It's definitely above average. It's a B. Maybe Swedish hockey is your thing, and so look no further than Elitserien 95, which is essentially NHL 95, but with Swedish hockey teams. And so it's not a bad game. It's just the same as NHL 95 with a different environment, and it's a B. Normy's Beach Babe-O-Rama is honestly just an average platformer where you are rescuing beach babes from a variety of different time periods. I do like the graphics in this game. They definitely pop out. It has nice color for a Sega Genesis game, but unfortunately the gameplay is just kind of average. I didn't find myself really enjoying playing this. More importantly, I think there's several other better platformers on the Sega Genesis. Chuck Rock comes to mind, and I just think that this is going to be forgettable. Now, as of a rarity, this game complete in great condition is hard to find. It's a C for me. Honestly, PGA European Tour Golf plays a lot like PGA Tour Golf II, but I have a lot more experience with that version. But if you're looking for like the European experience and courses and players, then this might be up your alley. For me, I'm going to choose PGA Tour Golf II over this, but this is not a bad golf game. A lot of the same gameplay aspects. It's a B. PGA Tour Golf III really improved upon many things that people liked about the previous version of this game. It is not a beginner golf game whatsoever, though. I like an arcade experience, but if you're looking for like a sim golf game, this is a good golf game. Not my favorite, but I'm still going to give it an A, because I think for golfers there's a lot to like in here with many additional features. And here are the rankings through the first 14. I compare Rugby World Cup 95 to reading someone else's mail. I've played a lot of sports in my life, and unfortunately I'm not too familiar with rugby. I think this game is okay, and it's going to be better if you're, connected to rugby, like rugby, watch rugby. The sprites are rather small. There's nice animations, but this game to me is just so-so because I don't have a connection to rugby. I don't go out of my way to play a rugby game. I'm going to prefer a different EA sports game. This is a C. Another EA published oddity and released under the Sega Club line. This is Sesame Street's Counting Cafe, and this is definitely an educational game for young children ages 3 to 6. Now, if you're a fan of Sesame Street and want to introduce your child to a wholesome game that helps them with basic adding, this is a game for you. I think as an educational game, it's just all right, and a C. Oh boy! What do you get when you cross a good basketball player, put them in a fighting game? Oh, and as a bonus, you can listen to his rap CD, which was bundled in with the first release of this game. Here we go. Let's start with a positive. I actually think that Shaq Fu has pretty good graphics, and I would even go as far as say it's got some nice animation. And that's where the positives of this game stop. The gameplay is truly awful. Hit detection, terrible. This is one of the worst fighting games on the Sega Genesis. I do not like this game whatsoever. I hate playing it. It's not fun. It's not a good fighting game. You may be a big Shaq fan and you may want to check this out. Otherwise, avoid this. It's a terrible fighting game. Even when you can master the moves, it is just truly unplayable. Avoid it at all costs. A total F. Skitchin is what you get when you cross skating with like a road rash style game. And for some of you out there, this may be the game that you grew up with, played, and loved. I like Skitchin, but I do prefer Road Rash over this. And so there's various multiple game modes, and there's tricks. You get rated on your tricks and how well you jump off ramps, and there's lots of things that can hit you. You have to avoid cars, which constantly hit you. It does have a learning curve, and the more you play this, the better you will get. One of the more creative games that EA published, and it's a B for me. Syndicate is more known as a classic PC game, but ported to the Genesis, it's okay. Now, this is a heavily involved action strategy game. It has great graphics, love the introduction, and unfortunately, some of the controls can get in the way of this excellent game. Now, I still enjoy this game. Now, it's impossible to completely cover the immense strategy and depth this game has in just a 30-minute blurb. But if you're a fan of those types of games, and maybe you're a non-sport fan and like those classic early EA games, this one may be for you. I do recommend the PC version as it plays better. EA concluded the Strike series on the Sega Genesis with Urban Strike. Now, I do like this game. I don't like it as much as Desert Strike or Jungle Strike, but there is a lot of game here. There's 10 huge levels. There's all new foot ground levels, which weren't my favorite, but there is a lot to like in this game, especially if you're a fan of the other two Strike games. Now, I prefer the other two games over this. That doesn't mean this is a bad game. It's still an A for me. Very enjoyable. Here are the final rankings. And what were your favorites? Comment below, as I love to hear the backstories that you have connected to these games. I know several are classics to many, many people. For others, this might have not been your favorite year, but that's okay. I'm going to continue to cover every EA game released for Sega Genesis, and I'm going to continue to do these ranking videos as I have many of them in my collection. And if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and click the bell, as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Let's keep it positive. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you have a good day.